This is a dark age, a bloody age, an age of demons and of sorcery. It is an age of battle and death, and of the world's ending. Amidst all the fire, flame, and fury, it is a time too of mighty heroes, of bold deeds, and great courage. Welcome to the Best Overall Show. It is Thursday, June 3rd. Today I am joined by my co-host, Michael Scott, with much upgraded audio and visual to the celebration of our audience. So, Michael, welcome again to the show. Thank you for joining me for a second week in a row.
Thank you for having me back. I'm glad to have things pretty well fixed here.
And audience, if you guys could give us a thumbs up / star / like / something to make sure that everything is working well. I also ditched Skype, so fuck Skype. It's now in the trash bin of my streaming history. So we're doing this on Discord as well. This is our first time streaming through Discord, so hopefully the audio quality is better. We don't have any of the audio issues that we've been having through Skype, so screw you, Skype. Yeah, you can die in a fire. So, very exciting show, guys. Lots to talk about. Very huge week with lots of dildo. Like dildo, I can hear you. Like dildo, I can hear you. Corey Schultz says, like dildo, I can hear you. I don't know what that means. But do you have it, Corey? Do you have a dildo in your ear? Is that what you're meaning? I'm not. It's not. Or does Michael sound like a dildo? Or do I sound like a dildo? It doesn't matter. All right. So, guys, few announcements. Some big, some small. First of all, we are 2 YouTube subscriptions away from 1,400 subscriptions. So if you are listening to this video, about half of you that watch my content are not subscribed to the channel. So please subscribe to the channel on YouTube. Be that 1,400th person, and you'll have my love for a very long time. So if you're watching on Twitch right now, minimize the browser. Go to youtube.com/DuplicityPaintStudio and hit that subscribe button, hit the bell icon, and maybe even hit the like icon as well. Leave a comment, say how much I suck, how much Michael sucks. So that's the first thing. Second, guys, this channel, I'm also a Twitch affiliate. So if you guys have those free Bezos bucks, those free Amazon Prime subscriptions, send them to me my way through Twitch. Very much appreciated, because obviously all of the bandwidth, hardware, and other things are not free. And I definitely pay for like all that stuff, restream and all the other stuff. So any support is super appreciated. And also just make sure to follow me on Twitch if you are watching this on any other place. Lastly, guys, there's gonna be so up to this point I've been streaming about 5 times per week. But oh, there we go. We got a subscription. Thank you for the subscription. You are a hero. That was VGL Cat, basically. What just happened to my video?
Oh no.
My video. Can you guys see the video?
What's it, folks?
What's going on here? Oh, there we go. It's back. All right. So, yeah. So just make sure to sub. Thanks for the subscriptions, guys. Second little announcement. We should be back here. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. This is also still new Discord. We're back. Yeah. Okay. Next thing, guys, there's going to be an update to the streaming schedule. So normally I've been streaming 3 shows a week plus 2 streams of hobby streams. That's 5 streams a week. And I'm trying to produce some original YouTube content. So right now, which you'll find out shortly, I'm working on a how to paint Death Guard video, which will be out in time for the premiere of my battle report with Play on Tabletop, which is this June 8th. And what I'm finding is I just don't have enough time, because I also work a 40-hour a week job, 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, on top of all of that. So, and I'm also painting like my own stuff and commissions. So between all of those things, basically I have no life right now. And it's summer, and it's like a gorgeous, it was like 24 degrees today in Vancouver, and the beaches are getting busy. The girls are calling, and I just gotta get out a little bit more. So starting next week, you're going to see a slightly reduced stream schedule. And what that's going to look like is probably 1 hobby stream a week. And then we're going to be doing alternating weeks for Politics and Plastic and Best Overall Show. So those are going to be alternating weeks. Now, I'll probably do more impromptu streams as I feel like it. So if there's certain days where I'm just feeling like to go on and stream. But I'm definitely doing more... it's going to be a little bit less heavy going into the summer, just because of the fact that I do want to focus on creating more original YouTube content, like edited content, not just streaming. And yeah, it's too nice here, guys. I mean, I've been away the last 4 weekends camping, and so I get back from these trips and I'm just like exhausted, and then it's like streaming and stuff like that. So I just wanted to give you guys that little update. Hopefully you don't hate me. But yeah, that's all of the yeah, we're going to be doing an OnlyFans, and I haven't decided when the hot tub streams will be starting, but we will be doing hot tub streams on this channel at some point. So stay tuned for that as well.
Hottest content on Twitch.
Yeah, the hottest content on Twitch. We're going to be doing hot tub painting streams where I'm going to paint inside a hot tub. So what do you guys think about
Duncan. That? There you go.
What's that?
Get Duncan in on the hot tub stream.
That's right. Yeah, we're going to have like painting streams where both participants are in a hot tub, and I'll be trying on a variety of various swimwear as well. All right,
could you thin your paints in the hot tub?
Oh yeah, I'll thin my paints. How about this? I'll do a hot tub stream in paint water. So it'll be a big vat of like paint water, and I will be in the paint water hot tub stream. How do you guys think? What do you guys think with that?
There we go.
Yeah, I got to tape my nipples.
Remember to tape your nipples.
Yeah, we are gonna. Me and Salty John will have a salt bastard sword fight at LVO probably next time I see him. All right, let's get into current projects. So, as I mentioned earlier, guys, I'm working on a Death Guard painting video. It's about half recorded. I've been recording it on the hobby streams, and then I did some recording yesterday. I'm hoping to kind of finish all the recording on Saturday, edit the video on Sunday and Monday, and then have it out in time for the Play on Tabletop premiere on Tuesday. That sounds like a lot of time, but like these videos take upwards of 8 to 10 hours to edit and a lot of time to record, because I'm basically painting the model from start to finish. So that's at least like 6 hours of painting. Plus I'm starting and stopping and stuff like that. So I'm hoping to get that done. And then, as I mentioned, Play on Tabletop Battle Report goes live. Death Guard versus Dark Angels on June 8th. So make sure to check out their channel. And finally, I'm very excited to announce that Mortis, which is the latest book in the Siege of Terra series, finally went on pre-order on audiobook. So I pre-ordered that on Audible. So I'm very excited to check that out when it comes out. And those are kind of the things that I've been working on. And also this large Dark Angels commission I've started assembling. I'm actually going to be doing next Sunday, I think. I'm going to be doing an 8-hour, or not even 8 hours. I'm going to be doing basically a assemble-a-thon, if that makes sense. Something that probably gets you nice and aroused, Michael, because I know how much you love building models. But basically, I have about 4,000 points of Dark Angels to construct, and I'm going to do an 8-hour stream where I build an entire 4,000 point Dark Angels army in one sitting. So that's going to be like your variety content. And you know, I might have to get really drunk to get me through it, but that's the plan for next week's at some point. So stay tuned for that. Michael, what have you been working on? What's going on with you?
Well, with the announcement of AOS 3 and these new Dominion boxes, my group and I are getting all fired up to play some Sigmar again. I'm going to be starting 2 armies. I'm doing Deepkin as one of them, and I'm going to go for the new Oryx that came out, because they scream Tolkien to me, and I like the Lord of the Rings game, and it's a good way to cross the two.
Yeah, and we're definitely going to talk about AOS. So obviously, guys, this is mostly a 40K channel, but on the Best Overall show specifically, because we talk lots of different things, we're going to talk lots of different things, including some Sigmar. So if you don't like Age of Sigmar, it's too bad, so sad. But we are going to talk a little bit about Age of Sigmar. And in fact, our background discussion topic today is going to be about the man, the myth, the legend himself, Sigmar Unbergoen Heldenhammer. So that's going to be our background discussion topic. We're going to talk a little bit about his gangsta life and kind of what he's been up to since the destruction.
Swollenness.
Yeah, how he got so swole in such a short amount of time. So we're gonna be talking about that. All right, so first topic I want to talk about is the big elephant in the room. So last week, Michael, we had a little bit of discussion around chapter approved. We didn't know what chapter approved was going to be at the time. We had made some predictions, and I think we saw some previews. And now chapter approved has dropped, and we've seen it all naked and in front of us. What are your initial thoughts on chapter approved? And I'm going to let you go first because I have some salt in me.
Oh,
like
volcano salt. Like Jim, I'm sure I share some of the same salt regarding Chaos. Granted, I haven't played 40K in a while, so a little less salty, but Chaos is still my main 40K jam, so seeing some of those changes is a little unfortunate. Some of the stuff to Drakari seemed...
No, that's FAQ.
Like,
so, we're talking about chapter approved. Yeah, chapter approved only. We'll get to the FAQ, but let's talk to you for chapter approved.
I have less opinions on chapter approved. I haven't read the entire thing.
Yeah, so you know what
But
here, I'll tell you what your opinion on chapter approved is. Absolutely fucking
for it.
nothing, because there's absolutely nothing fucking in there, to be honest. The
Oh,
points
is that
changes.
because it was 6 months too late?
So the points changes in chapter approved it's probably across like 14 factions or whatever. It's probably like 200 points worth of changes. Like if you pull out the Land Raider changes, it's probably like 200 points of changes. So your opinion is
that half of it?
that's like literally half of the 400 points. So
Nice.
sorry, I just had to breathe. I'm trying to work on mindfulness, guys, and being calm. And so I just had to, I'm practicing some breathing exercises because otherwise I'm going to rage too much. But okay, so chapter approved is a huge fucking waste of money, and do not purchase it. And if you purchase it, you're an idiot. And I'm just going to tell you that right now.
I read it. No, don't
go read the changes
that.
on the internet, because they amount to probably 3 sentences and 3 paragraphs. The missions, primary missions, did not change. Secondary missions, I think there was like 4 or 5 changes to the secondaries, which we saw mostly previewed, and the other ones had some minor wording changes. And then the points changes were absolutely pathetic. Games Workshop, it was pathetic what you guys produced. So to pay $40 or $50 for that book, I think is a complete ripoff. And at this point, I would a hard do not buy for me. And I would not recommend you that you go and purchase this book. It is not worth the money, and do not reward Games Workshop with your hobby dollars by buying this book. They're gonna continue to repeat this kind of
basically
idiotic business practice if we keep buying these books. So if I was you, I would not purchase chapter approved. With that said, and yeah, that's all I really have to say about it, because the changes, quote unquote changes, have been reviewed across the internet in various sites, and they are incredibly minor in chapter approved. They are 6 months late and out of date, which means outside of Necrons and Marines, most of the other books didn't get almost any changes, because this was probably printed right after the Necron book and Marine book was released. So there's a very minimal amount of changes for any of the current books. It didn't fix anything. It didn't improve any of the factions that are struggling right now by any amount at all, right? The only thing that actually got better was the Swarm Lord dropped 30 points, but Diamond Carons went up like 25 points. So I think I was talking to McDougal, and I think his list net changed 5 points based on like the changes. Like the Gene Stealers, because no one takes Gene Stealers anyways. Like his list changed like net like 5 or 10 points. And most people's lists changed 5 to 10 points net on if like that's at the high end. But yeah, overall, this is basically a completely pointless publication, because it didn't actually do anything to change the meta, didn't do anything to address the balance, didn't do anything to change the game. So hard, do not buy. And yeah, I don't have much more to say about this, but I talked about it last week, and this is like incredibly you know, like, I hate to say I told you so, but I fucking told you so. Actually, I don't hate to say I told you so. I love saying I told you so. What are you talking about?
I've always thought, though, that like in general, the chapter approves were kind of like lackluster for that exact reason of it just being too late for it to really matter, right? Like, you put that stuff out, okay, well, 3 new codexes have come out in that time where you submitted it to be printed, so the problems that you had probably don't exist anymore, and there's new problems that have replaced it. So,
right,
yeah, not that I would have bought the book anyways, but definitely not a buy.
Yeah, so just basically a non-starter. This chapter approved and field manual. I will not be purchasing. Originally, I was going to purchase it, but you know what I'm going to do, and this is what I would recommend you guys doing. I'm going to go and get print cards with all the secondaries on it. So I'm going to go to Wikipedia or any other site where I can get the secondaries or the many thousands of scans of chapter proof that are now available. I'm going to make little mission cards for myself, like on stock, just like I used to have those spell cards for like my magic spell cards. I'm going to print all the secondaries on cards, the current ones. Because the primaries didn't change, I'm just going to use my current chapter approved, right? And then for the points changes, I'm going to continue to use the programs that I use, which is Battlescribe, which will have the points changes within like 3 hours, because that's how few there were, and I'm sure it'll be updated very quickly. So I'm just do not do it. Do not do it. All right, but amongst all of this trash talking, Games Workshop actually finally did something very good. And guys, I want to be really clear. I'm a fair like interlocutor of this show. Is that even a word? Like, I'm a fair person. If Games Workshop does shit, I'm going to tell you it's shit. But if Games Workshop does good, I'm going to tell you it's good. So I don't have a thing on for Games Workshop. I'm very unbiased in that regard. Games Workshop released on top of the chapter approved. We got an FAQ and a minor points update. So a second chapter approved 2.0, which, guess what, guys? If it was digital, you could have released it all at once. Secretly. So we got an FAQ on, I believe it was, what day is it? Thursday today? It's Friday today? Maybe on Wednesday or on Tuesday.
Thursday.
And within that FAQ, we actually had something of value. So congratulations, Games Workshop. Let's give them a round of applause for producing something of value in a written document. And let's break those down into two different pieces. So we got a balance pass on Drukhari, which was much needed. And speaking of those, so Raiders went up by 10 points, which I think is probably good. I didn't expect them to go up. I thought 10 to 15 points increase was just about right. I didn't think any more than that is necessary. Drazar went up 10 points, which I think is appropriate as well. Obviously, we saw some nerfs to the free 2 CP stratagem. So for taking the 3 patrols, which was obviously a typo, but people benefited. We also saw nerf to see, I'm just trying to do this off memory. Dark Technomancers, which was very much needed. Now, I thought actually maybe they went a little bit too far with the nerf. I didn't expect them to make it completely not usable on Dark Technomancers. I assumed that maybe what they would do is say, like, if you roll a 1 for number of shots, that model that carries the liquefier dies, right? Or something along those lines. Or maybe just have it less effective for flamers. Like, potentially, maybe for weapons that auto hit, maybe like they don't get the +1 to wound or something like that, right? So something along those lines. So I thought they actually went a lot farther with that nerf than I thought they would. And then so that was 4 of the 6 changes that I wanted to see. And the other 2 changes that we almost got, one more change we did get, which wasn't actually in the Drukhari nerf, but it was an indirect nerf to them, which is they destroyed the 42 attack succubus by basically cleaning up the main rulebook rules on additional attacks. So that succubus is now dead. Although she's still really good. She still does basically 12 wounds every time. But, and this is the big thing that I still think that they missed, is you're still able to take Cult of Strife characters in like a Dark Technomancer's detachment and give them warlord traits and relics. And I think it's an issue. I think, for instance, like if you take a Dark Technomancer's detachment, everything should have to be Dark Technomancers. Or if you take a Black Cabal the Black Heart detachment, everything should have to be Cabal the Black Heart. But right now, you're able to put characters inside those detachments with covens or cabals or whatever that don't match the overall detachment without breaking the rules for that detachment. So unlike every other book, where if I take, say, a Thousand Sun Psyker and a Alpha Legion character and I put them in a detachment, I don't get like Thousand Suns rules for that Psyker or Alpha Legion rules. I get neither. In Dark Eldar are unique in the fact that I can take a Cult of Strife succubus and put it inside my Dark Technomancer's detachment as the one character choice. I don't even need to take
that's really weird.
Whatever they're called, homunculus, and that can be like the character that fulfills it. So, and that I don't know if that's I think that's partly due to the Dark Eldar book, but also from the Warzone Book of Rust, which we still have not seen any sort of FAQ for, which I thought was interesting. That we still haven't seen an FAQ for that. So, any thoughts on the Dark Eldar changes, Michael? Like, what are your kind of initial thoughts?
Like I said, like I haven't played against them, but I've heard a lot of people talk about them and especially complain about Raiders, I'd imagine, because like point cost and like they're much more effective now. At least since like I think just the changeover to 9th. So it's kind of nice to see like little points increases, especially for armies that are elves, like any sort of Eldar army. I feel like even minor point increases really affect it because they're usually like pretty MSU-ish. So that's kind of nice. I know Drazar was a blunder. I didn't know if he was like an auto-include thing, but again, named characters should probably be a little bit more costly anyways, especially if they have the rules to back it up. And yeah, the stupid things about free CP being gone is good because editing.
Yeah, and so those are the main Drukhari nerfs. Now, unfortunately, as a result of these nerfs, we also got some other things which I want to talk about. And Chaos specifically got fucked pretty hard with some of these nerfs. So first of all, I think the big change is that warp time is no longer cross legion, cross faction, which
big sad.
Yeah, and let me be clear here. It's peculiar for me, not because I didn't see it coming. I think we all expected that this change would happen with the release of the new book. I think everyone expected when Thousand Suns book dropped and or Chaos Space Marine book dropped, that as these books came out, this would go away. No one was under the illusion that this would be viable in those books. What the expectation is that at least we would have those new books to help offset the fact that we're losing this cross faction, buffing, right? Right now, the Chaos faction is literally holding on by a thread competitively on the strength of things like cross faction spells and souping. Any of the pure Chaos factions right now are just not good. So the only reason Chaos as a faction, as a super faction, is even competitive is due to the ability to do some of that cross faction souping, that cross faction buffing, that cross faction casting. And so as you take that away, you're weakening the faction as a whole, all the Chaos factions, because none of them really stand on their own. But without replacing with something, which they didn't really do, it really hurts Chaos as a faction. So Death Guard got worse in most ways because they lost their warp time. Chaos Space Marines allies got worse, so you're never going to see that Word Bearers patrol anymore. You're never going to see people bringing in like that lone Thousand Sun Sorcerer. That's just not going to happen anymore, right? Because it just doesn't work. So Soup in general just got a huge hit, but there wasn't really anything done to compensate. Like, I don't understand, and this is the thing I don't understand. It couldn't be that hard, and it can't be that hard for them to have said, okay, here's the chapter approved. All your Chaos Space Marines and Thousand Suns and whatever are going to go up to 2 wounds, so here are the points for those. Because we already know in the Thousand Suns, like literally the points for
they said it's coming.
Well, here's the thing. The points for 2 wound Thousand Suns are in the chapter approved because they're the ones from the Codex. So we already know how much a 2 wound Thousand Suns will cost and a 2 wound Thousand Suns Terminator will cost. It's literally in the fucking chapter approved. So they could have easily come out and said, hey, until that Codex drops and Chaos Space Marine drops, here are the points increases for those specific units, and it's probably like a half dozen units. And give them 1 extra wound. That would have been very minimal and wouldn't have been any more like it wouldn't have been any more like I guess like burdensome than already the amount of books and facts there are. Like if people were saying, oh, that would have been too confusing because there's now multiple stat lines, it's not any more confusing than already the fact that there's multiple things going on right now. Like it just adds one more thing to this already very expansive thing. So
also, is it even that like extra confusing? I feel like we've known that the CSM are going to get bumped up to 2 wounds ever since Space Marines got it a long time back. There was like a GW article that said this was going to happen. We're just waiting for the Codex. So it's not like, surprise, this is happening. It's like everybody already knew. Why not just make it happen? And especially, like you said, with the soup thing, like that's kind of what Chaos is. And they even sell Chaos that way. As like, here, you can use X, Y, and Z other things from these other books. Like, it's kind of silly to me to just do that.
Yeah. So I just feel like it wasn't. I'm just gonna shrink you, Michael, because you got really close to your camera. Now your head's really big.
Oh.
It's okay. There we go. So anyways, like you could have written a single paragraph that said, for the following units, Chaos Space Marines, Chaos Terminators, like Havocs, Chosen, Corn Berserkers, Noise Marines, like probably like I'm talking probably 8 unit entries, and list the unit entries. Increase the wound count to 2 wounds, and here are the points. And it could have been 1 little paragraph. That's it.
Yeah.
Easy. But you didn't do it. So now Chaos Space Marines are going to be basically neutered for the next 6 to 8 months, whenever they get the book. I hope they get a book sooner than later. They're a fairly important faction. And Thousand Suns obviously don't have to wait so long. So that's a good thing. So that was a big nerf to Chaos Space Marines. Unfortunate. Now on the bright side, two big bright sides with the FAQ as well is they fucking fixed Death Guard to move through forests.
Like this.
So no, they fixed typhus, which to be fair, I don't think anyone played it that way anyways. Like I think that was one of those things where it's just like just a bunch of neckbeards and Tom Layton, sorry Tom, love you, basically saying that this is something you can't do. And then everyone was like, yeah, shut up. We know that that's not what they intended, because like even like we're just gonna allow it. Like almost every TO just allowed it. But when it comes to the forest thing, I just thought it was so funny. It's like Death Guard, like Xenos weaponry, like dark magic, ancient technology, like stasis grenades and like artillery, no problem. A little forest, oh my god, they were slowed down. Like they can literally go through like the like most crazy technology and like all this stuff, and like they shrug it off. And then a little forest, like a little shrub, they're like, okay guys, we're too slow, we can't do it. So I just thought that was really funny. So they've Python. And again, they actually removed the FAQ from the Death Guard, the piece, because they actually updated the difficult ground rule to clarify the way that it works. And they also clarified to there was like a lot of confusion around charge roll and charge distance. People were saying that like the charge roll and the charge distance are essentially two different things, but they actually did clarify that like it's basically the same thing, effectively the same thing, which I thought was nice. So Death Guard now are not slow, which is amazing. Other big change, I think, which is a boon of Chaos, is that Chaos Dread Claws now work like Space Marine drop pods. So they now have the drop pod assault rule, which essentially allows. So basically, in the old version, they could drop down on turn 1, but nothing could get out because they couldn't disembark the turn that it dropped down. They didn't have that rule. So now you can actually drop your drop pods turn 1 and have your models disembark. And Dread Claws are actually really good because they're 115 points and they actually move 8 inches and they have a fucking bunch of guns on them and stuff, and they can attack in close combat. Like,
don't they also are those the ones that eat things, or is that or am I thinking of the Cryptus?
So the Cryptus and the Dreadclaw both are able, they're like flyers. Like they both have fly, and after they drop, they can actually move around and do shit. So they're like almost like budget raiders in a way, like expensive raiders, right? I think they have dual heavy flamers on them or something like that. So in a sense,
that's not bad.
Yeah. So I was thinking of getting 2 drop pods, even though I don't think I'll ever have time to play them. So, but I obviously
kind of spikes on it.
Yeah. So, so that was good. Now, other big changes which I thought were really positive. First is all the fight last, strike first nonsense. They clarified that whole like Book of Worms, which I thought was really good. And they also clarified some stuff around the Dreadclaws don't have guns? I swear Dreadclaws had guns. Okay, now Deuce,
maybe it's just the chomps.
Deuce 0083 has me sweating here because I'm like I can't. So now I gotta open my. Look what you made me. Now I gotta open Battle Scribe and make sure that I'm not talking shit, which I basically am at this point. Okay, let's see here. Dreadclaw. Flyers. Transports. Is it a transport?
I'm literally bringing lube to a major this weekend to prepare for Jakari. Love it. Love the confidence.
Cryptus Assault Claw? No, it's the... What one is it? It's not that one. Where is it?
Is there 2 profiles?
No, it's where is it? An elite? I wonder where it is in the book. I don't see it here because I'm blind as fuck. I see the Charybdis. Let me just maybe add it. I need to cast Space Marines. We need to add them to the list before it shows up. I can't find the rules now. Of course it's not in here. That's really weird. Maybe I'm just really blind. Fast attack? Oh yeah, here we go. Dreadclaw Assault Pod. Okay, so let's see this. What was that? You just went super quiet on me. Can you talk? Whoa. You sound really weird. How do I sound, guys? Did you guys get that?
Yeah, sorry, something happened with my audio on my end.
Okay, yeah, you were like... Anyways, all right. let's forget it. Okay, so a few other things that were in the chapter approved, which I thought were, I don't know, JB, man, leave me alone, bro. I'm cursed. Few other changes that we saw was, yeah, just lots of updates and basically this was the FAQ that I don't know why it took them so long to write this. Like a lot of the stuff was fairly straightforward. No real FAQ for AdMech, no Book of Rest stuff. A lot of books didn't even get touched. So Games Workshop did a great job with this FAQ, and in fact, I would argue that this FAQ is actually worth $40, and the chapter approved is not. So if they were going to charge for anything, think they should. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't think they should charge for either. I think chapter approved should be free, the points should be free, and the missions and the FAQ should be free, which it is. I think that should all happen, but yeah. So good job, Games Workshop on the FAQ. I know there's a lot of salty people about the I guess like ACO stuff, but I don't really care about ACO, so I'm not going anyway, so fuck them. All right, I think that's all our FAQ talk. Any other audience chat, any other standouts from the FAQ that you guys want me to talk about and rage at? Because I feel like there's definitely a few. Let me see here.
You forgot
anything else I'm forgetting?
Space Wolf Venerable Dreadnoughts can take heavy flamers now instead of storm bolters.
Yeah, what a devastating update.
That's value.
Yeah, so I just thought it was interesting that I like that they did the designer's commentary, and I think that they should do more. Yeah, the stationary changes I don't want to go through because it's basically like 9 points. But basically they basically made it so that the rules that make you remain stationary are a little bit clearer. Basically they don't it like what it does, and this is what I'll say overall with this FAQ, it removed a lot of the like weird janky shit, like the fucking Pythagorean deep strike chargers that people were like everything that people knew sounded janky, they like removed, and then things that like I feel like it made a lot of things more common sense, which I really like. So that was really nice. The super heavy ox thing is interesting, but again, like who does that really affect? Because it affects like Space Marines and Chaos Space Marines, but no one takes those things. Anyways, like no one takes Lord of Skulls anyways, especially now that you can't cast spells on them. You can't even warp time your Lord of Skulls anymore because he's gonna be a Khorne. I guess actually you could. You'd have to take him in a Khorne because it's not marks, right? So you could take an Alpha Legion Lord of Skulls, and so you could technically warp time him, but you couldn't take a World Leaders one and warp time him.
Please don't.
The other big thing that they did clarify is summoning doesn't break Legion rules, so I can now summon into my Death Guard army, which is nice, and my Thousand Sons army when they come up. Because before, if you summon stuff, it technically would every model in your army wouldn't contain XYZ, so you'd lose like some of those things. So they clarified that. But yeah, overall, really good FAQ. Really happy with it for the most part. Obviously, I'm a bit salty on the chaos changes, but at the end of the day, I knew it was coming. I just wish they had, like, you know, give me some honey and give me some vinegar. You know,
for sure.
Like, you know, if you're gonna spank me, give me a few kisses. You know. So, all right. There's some big news which I want to talk about, and we did definitely talk about it last week, but I want to bring it to everyone's attention. And it regarding to Warhammer Plus. So if you guys watched last week's episode, you'll know that I went on a pretty long kind of rant about Warhammer Plus. But there's been some very interesting subtle updates, and I'm going to throw this on screen because we have advanced technology here.
I just threw a link in the chat.
You won't be able to because you're a weakling and you don't have admin powers, and they don't like to put chat. But I'm going to throw it up on the screen. So if you guys can see this, let me see if I can move it. So this is, I'll just shrink it down a bit. This is the basically the very bottom of the article today on Warhammer Community had a very interesting bit of info, and I'm just going to read it here for you guys. So hopefully you guys can see this. So it says here on the article, Angels of Death is one of the first animations coming soon to Warhammer Plus, and you can see the opening 7 minutes, blah, 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 blah. But they're not the only things your subscription to Warhammer Plus will let you access either. With more benefits, including some you wouldn't even think of, joining the service when it launches. If you want to find out more, keep your eyes trained on Warhammer Community on the 23rd of June. And then we have here this little Warhammer Plus graphic. Animations as one of 5 different branches of stuff. So animation seems to be just 1/5 of what potentially Warhammer Plus could be. Now, they're saying that more benefits some of you wouldn't even think of. Well, I can think of one. Give me fucking digital rules, dum-dums. Here's one. Digital rules. I just talked about it last week. So give me some digital rules. How about that? I can think of one, right? Digital codexes, digital updates, a much better app, an army building app that actually works. That is one. If that is not one of these pluses, I will be very upset. Okay.
Buy Battlescribe GW, please.
Yeah. I can imagine. I don't know what else. Any other predictions for what these? I'm gonna pull this off the screen, guys, because it's covering our faces.
So,
but any other
there's
predictions for
definitely
what these other pluses could be, other benefits could be?
games, video games, for sure. Like I was panning
like
through this
Steam?
IGN. I maybe it's like Steam codes, because so IGN put up this article of all the new Warhammer related video games that are coming out. And there's like 10 on here, and a lot of them say like Steam or like Microsoft, whatever their subscription crap is. So like that could be one of them. Maybe something like that, like an Xbox Games Pass kind of deal that comes with it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe this might sound weird, but maybe some Black Library stuff, kind of like I feel like you can get a subscription service for Kobo or whatever. There's probably like a paper version of Audible, something like that lets you access like backlogs of their books and novels and stuff. You got 5 things. What's that? 3 if you include animations. What else? What could 2 other ones be?
Any guesses, chat?
lessons?
What you guys think? So I thought one cool. So here's what I want, and I'll give you like 3 things that I've like surmised. First, digital rules. So a true. Look, if I said on the last show, if they put digital rules on this, I'm an instant sub. Done, guys. You have me.
Yep.
Games Workshop. Look at me.
A light.
Digital rules. You have me. Okay. Second, I thought it'd be cool because they remember that Conquest magazine they did where like you got like a
Yes.
Wouldn't it be
The
cool if like
miniatures.
with the Warhammer Plus subscription you got like a Conquest magazine every month? Like that was part of like the service? Something
Yeah,
where you got
that'd be
miniatures,
great.
like you almost got like you know how they have those like miniature things where it's like you get a free blister every month or it's like a surprise package?
Yeah.
How cool would it be if with Warhammer Plus you got like a free miniature every month?
Be great.
And it doesn't have to be like a
Fine.
big, could be like a single model, but they send you like,
Yeah.
they send you like they just send you like old shit from like the warehouse. Like you get like an Empire
Just send you,
Spearmint from
a
like,
single fine cast
Mhm.
fire dragon.
so I think that would be really
I
cool.
don't care.
I think that would be really cool for like a benefit. I
Yeah.
think another benefit would be some sort of like early access, early preview. Like imagine you had early access to pre-orders. So like just like right now,
yeah.
so right now, like think of like a lot of Patreon accounts.
Yeah,
You have early
sure.
access to stuff, so including but imagine that early access to pre-orders. Dude, if you could get early access pre-orders to like limited edition, like imagine things like limited edition books, all that stuff. Games Workshop would make a lot of fucking money.
You think that? I don't know. That's steep because like scalpers.
I'm telling you, man. I'm just
I'm
speculating.
not saying you're
What-
wrong.
look,
'Cause
here's the
nobody
thing.
cares about the secondary market.
Games Workshop doesn't care, and I'm thinking also, what is the most scumbag thing Games Workshop could put on this service that would make them lots of money that they would definitely do?
What if it's just like access to art?
Yeah,
Just like here.
I could see
Here's a gallery of all
Deuce
the
mentions in the
codex
chat like Twitch benefits. So it could maybe as a part of your Warhammer Plus, you get like an automatic sub to the Twitch channel, or maybe
That'd be neat.
maybe they do something more with their YouTube channel, like they add members only content for YouTube and Twitch,
Yeah.
just like they have like maybe there's some members only content like videos. But the other thing I thought is we're thinking animation for Warhammer Plus, but what if they have things like professional battle reports? What if they do something like Play on Tabletop and they do like Games Workshop produced high-end battle reports?
Yeah, it would be
like really
mini
well
wargaming
produced,
turned up.
really well produced battle reports, like all the battle report creators do right now. Imagine they did something like that as part of like their content pipeline.
Well, they'd almost be stupid not to. I mean, you got to imagine, like a powerhouse like Games Workshop sees all these people. What if GW comes up with their own coaching service, and that's through Warhammer Plus?
Coach you how to play Crusade?
Yeah, this is how to best use your new pointed Land Raider.
I know they mentioned at one point they would have like Crusade. They want to incorporate Crusade into the app, but maybe Warhammer Plus comes with a free app subscription as well. Because now it's $2.99. So maybe they do this thing where it's like you can get the app for $2.99 on its own, or you can get it as part of your Warhammer Plus subscription, and the whole thing is like $9.99. So it's like you kind of get the app like built, like baked in.
Yeah, that'd be pretty good.
Deuce makes another point. Oh, dude, Deuce, man, don't make me tease like that. So Deuce makes a point in chat. By the way, if you guys are listening on this podcast form, we stream the show live. So if you're wondering who I'm talking to, it's the chat. And
that's actually a good point you made.
I also made that point, and I'm not going to say I told you so. But what I mentioned is Games Workshop. Like, imagine you had access to achievements, like an achievement system, like they have for like Xbox or like WoW or like any of the like League of Legends or Fortnite.
You played in your first grand tournament. Here's X.
Like imagine they did like a player, like your Warhammer Plus account had a player profile where you could put in your events, and then there was like certain achievements, and you could do those by attending official Games Workshop events, or there's other sorts of ways to get like achievements. People would fucking love that shit. People love achievements. I don't understand why. Because it's like you don't even get anything. And then maybe it's like or even like the old Warhammer Skulls program where I don't know if you remember that, but you used to buy stuff, you can get these little skulls. I think it was through mail order, and then it was like this. It was like Subway Club stickers, like for this free sandwich. But you'd get like 9 or 10 skulls, and then once you had enough skulls, you could trade them in for like exclusive limited edition miniatures. So maybe Warhammer Plus cool. gives you access to like maybe there's an achievement system. It gives you access to like special limited edition miniatures, right? So these are all things that I think they could offer that would add value to the service. Because as I mentioned in the last cast, if they just launch with these fucking piddly little shows, these animations, and they try to charge $99, it's not going to be worth your money. But if they do a bunch of these other things that I mentioned, digital rules, then I think it could be. Did I say digital rules? I don't know if I mentioned that before.
One more time.
But, yeah. So I think they could actually make it. It would actually be worthwhile. So Games Workshop has an opportunity here to do something really fucking cool, which means they will definitely not do it. Is the problem?
You know what would make it even
They'll completely
cooler,
bungle it. They'll completely bungle it, and it'll be a huge ripoff. That's my prediction, but
because
we'll see.
GW announced their new circuit, right? Like they announced like 3 tournaments in the States. What if, because you know, you go to a GT, whatever, you're pretty common, you get like a little swag bag. What if you get like a little month free trial of this, and that's how they get you?
Yeah, or access to tickets to events ahead of time, or swag or whatever, right? So you get, like they give out.
If they did that.
You know how they're giving those you get those little like coins and the pins and all that shit, like all the fucking, what do they call it? Flair from Office Space. You get all the Games Workshop flair. Maybe there's like maybe you get like free flair sent to you. You get like pins and fucking patches and all sorts of other shit sent to you. Who knows? But I think here's my point.
Face masks.
I think Games Workshop has so at first I didn't realize Warhammer Plus was gonna be more than just the animations, but now that it could be like a complete service with lots of different things, maybe even if it's like, hey, what is another thing that I subscribe to? Amazon fucking Prime. What if a Warhammer Plus subscription gives me fucking free shipping? I'm telling you. It
wouldn't be next day because we're screwed.
No, but like imagine Warhammer Plus gave me like free shipping, or allowed me to have like my shipping like total could be like half the amount for my order numbers.
Yeah, you don't need to hit that whatever what is it, like $150 I think is their minimum.
If they fucking created, and guess what, Amazon Prime also has video on it. If they just basically created Warhammer Prime, they're gonna fucking make a lot of money, right?
Guess what else Amazon Prime has?
Audiobooks, yeah. So Games Workshop, please listen to me and Michael and everyone else. You guys have a fucking really cool opportunity here to create something that could totally revolutionize the hobby community, could make you guys fucking bucket loads of money, but you just have to get out of your own ass for once and do the right thing here, and do the thing that is not the most scumbag possible, and the most like cheap possible, but actually do something really, really cool with this. And I'm telling you guys now, if they actually pull off 50% of the shit that I just talked about, I will subscribe and I will eat my fucking words. I'll come back on this podcast. Quote me now. Listen to me now. Quote me later. 650 June 3rd, 2021. If Games Workshop actually gives us digital rules and gives us something like free shipping or any of these kinds of things that we're talking about that makes it actually fucking really cool, I will come on back on the show and I will publicly fucking suck Games Workshop's dick and tell them how great they are. Because like I have that little faith that they'll actually do it, but I'm an optimist. So
oh yeah. Now here's some optimism. What if this is the biggest hot take of what Warhammer Plus could be? What if GW's just like, everybody's got a 3D printer now. Warhammer Plus sub, get some STL files.
Bro, can you imagine?
Here's all of our out of print stuff.
But can you imagine?
Only ever going to be made to order, and we're never going to do it again.
But think about it.
28 mil Nagash.
Think about it though. If Games Workshop wanted to ever do STLs, what would be the first step? It would be setting up some sort of infrastructure to create a subscription style infrastructure.
Yep.
So whether or not Warhammer Plus has STLs on launch day or not, I don't know. Whether it has digital rules, I don't know. But what they're doing is they're laying the groundwork for those things in the future, because now they're going to have this infrastructure and this thing with people signed up where they can actually, then this channel and this platform where they can actually do those things, right? And the sky's the limit, man.
I will say the nice thing about it being like a subscription versus like a one-time purchase is that they're going to have to continuously prove its worth to us as we go along. I mean, maybe not, because we're gamers and we spend stupid amounts of money on stupid things. But
yeah, well, you know what? They're gonna have like 99 month or like 1 year subscription for like $1 less than if it was $9.99 a month. Yeah, and people are gonna buy the year subscription for sure, because that's what people do.
You think it's actually gonna be $9.99 a month?
I think it's gonna be more expensive than you think. I think it's gonna be up there.
Yeah,
I do not.
I'm
this is not like
$19.99.
Look, the app is $2.99, right? It can't be cheaper than the app. That wouldn't make sense. The app started at like $6.99, so I bet you it's even more expensive than that. I bet you this is between $8 to $13, the service.
Well, also for reference, the Age of Sigmar app, the Azer app, is $1.79 a month.
So I think it's been,
and that gets you discounts on your codexes too.
All right, now I'm like hot and bothered from this potential.
Oh yeah, same, but that's because my AC is broken.
Okay, so that's enough about Warhammer Plus. Now, Warhammer Skulls coverage. I will go a little bit into it. So Warhammer Skulls was the community event that they did today. It was mostly video games. Did you watch the presentation? Did you guys chat? Did you guys watch the presentation? Anything that stuck out to you as far as cool and that you want to play?
I personally didn't watch like the presentation, but I did watch like all of the individual clips. And after looking at them, what is this one called? The orc one. Shoota's Blood and Teeth. That one
the
screams
side-scroller action
Castle
game?
Crashers.
Metal Slug Orcs,
Did you ever play Castle Crashers?
Nat McGowan has a good point. It reminds me of Metal Slug, the old Metal Slug, and those old 2D
Thank you.
That was like
amazing.
That was probably like the one game where I'm like, this actually looks fun.
Okay, here's the thing. We all talk about 40K as an esport, right? Whatever.
This is the game that's gonna make an esport?
No. GW is dropping an auto battler, an auto chess. So think like TFT, Hearthstone Battlegrounds, like that sort of thing. And the trailer looks awesome. It's mobile, PC, Xbox, PS5, I believe. Just mobile and PC. It's called Soul Arena. Now, I play a shitload of these auto battlers. They're super addicting. And like, I play a lot of TFT.
Okay, sorry. What is an auto battler? I don't know what the fuck that is.
It's okay.
Is that like Hearthstone, like the card games?
So it's basically like you do like a little draft in between every battle that you have, and you like build up a team, right? So for example, in this trailer, they show like if you put a bunch of Stormcast Eternals together, your team gets buffs and bonuses and,
am I old
things like that.
I don't know what the fucking auto battler is?
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay. Like I haven't played like Fortnite, so I'm that old. I don't play
Oh,
Fortnite.
okay. It's not. It's that's a. Yeah. Okay. That's okay.
I was excited
It looks
for
cool.
what was the one I sent you? Was it Chaos Gate? It's
Yes.
like Vermintide 40K. And Dad Abnett is doing the lore, which means nothing because all those games have awful storylines. But I want to do a stream. I want to set up. What do you guys think, chat? Should we do like once that game comes out? Should we put together like a DPS team and do like streams, like just smash heretics? I guess that
There
sounds
you
fun.
go.
So I want to do something like that.
What else?
Total War obviously looks good. I'll probably pick that up. I didn't pick up Total War 2, but I'll probably pick up the third Total War.
Oh,
And then
this
I just
battle
didn't.
sector.
And then obviously Blood Bowl 3 I'll pick up because Blood Bowl is great. But I guess I didn't realize how many Games Workshop that I get pumped out on the Games Workshop IP.
There's so many.
I was like, because I actually went to, I have a GOG account, Good Old Games, and I also have a Steam account, obviously. And I went to GOG, and they actually have they had like a Warhammer game sale today as part of this like Skulls thing, and there was like 30 games on sale, and I was like, I haven't even heard of half these games. And then on Steam, there's actually a Warhammer category that you can follow that shows all the Warhammer games, and there's fucking like 200 of them, and like most of them are garbage. They're made by like indie developers, and they're all just shit. Like the last Warhammer game I bought besides Total War was I think Mordheim. I think Mordheim was the last one I bought. And maybe I didn't even buy Battlefleet Gothic because I just assumed that it'd be shit. But yeah.
I just looked it up on the Google Play Store, and there is 21 different Warhammer, and that's just from searching Warhammer.
Oh yeah, well the mobile games is a whole thing. I don't fuck with mobile games. Mobile games is the dumbest thing I've ever heard of. I don't know why people play mobile games.
Ooh.
Like, if you have a console or a PC, why the fuck would you play a mobile game?
I can mute.
Huh? Like, do you sit at home and play a fucking game on your cell phone? That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard.
No comment. I definitely don't spend money on them either.
Okay. So you got a jailbroken phone and you have pirated mobile games. Okay, I got it.
No, yeah, I can't really pirate it. Only pirated GW stuff.
Okay, all right, moving on. Anyway, some cool games. Hopefully they don't suck. But can we just get like Dawn of War 4 that's just Dawn of War 1 with like new graphics? Can we just stop fucking around?
Can I get World of Warcraft with a Age of Sigmar skin?
Yeah. Like I don't know where is my I saw I was kind of interested in that Chaos Bane game. It was like the Diablo clone basically, the action RPG.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like for a lot of the Steam games, I read the reviews before I purchase, and almost all of them are just like, this is a buggy piece of shit. Like it's cool because it's Warhammer, but it's a buggy piece of shit. Don't buy it. And like the gameplay sucks. It's like the gameplay is shallow and repetitive. Like they're cool because they're Warhammer, but they're not good games. Do you know what I'm saying?
This isn't gonna get somebody to go buy an army.
Yeah, everything's just like it's just like a bad game with a Warhammer skin, and that's what like 90% of these games are. It's like they just use the Warhammer IP, but a lot of them don't like actually have like they're not good quality. And I'm not talking they don't have to be AAA titles, right? Like Dark Omen, which is an old ass fucking PC game from like 1997, I think, is still one of my top 3 Warhammer games of all time, along with Dawn of War and probably Total War. Those are probably like my top 3 Warhammer games of all time. I remember playing the original Fire Warrior. Fire Warrior, yeah.
Yeah.
And that was like a janky ass. I'm like, first of all, like, why the fuck am I playing as a Tau? Like, who the fuck cares about Tau? And that game came out like so long ago, but I remember playing that. And at one point, I think you fight a Space Marine and he just like fucking rapes you, and you're like, oh shit, because you're a dumb Tau Fire Warrior.
You're a little fucking Fire Warrior.
And I think at one point even you fight like a Thunderhawk or something. You're like, or like there's some level where there's like a flying maybe it's like a I don't know, it's like a Fire Raptor or like a Thunderhawk or something. You have to like shoot out of the sky, or there's like a Dreadnought.
I think I'd rather play StarCraft on my N64.
Yeah, so I wouldn't mind a 40K 40K MMO would be cool, but I don't think they'll make it because MMOs, the whole industry is dead.
That's part of Warhammer Plus.
Yeah, God. And then obviously I like Dawn of War 1, so something similar to that for 40K. I liked actually Dawn of War 2. I didn't mind it. It was a lot different than Dawn of War 1. And I think like as a standalone game, it's a good game. It's not a good sequel to Dawn of War 1 though.
What if they just made like a fighting game, like a Warhammer fighter game?
Like
That'd be probably pretty
fucking
cool.
Street Fighter, like they have like
why
Capcom,
not?
they have like Capcom versus Marvel or whatever, and
Yeah,
it's
you
like a
get all the
fucking
random
variety
things.
mix of characters, all just like in a big fighting. It's like
Yeah,
what would it
there's
be?
random things in Mortal
What
Kombat.
would it be like Star Wars and Star Trek versus 40K like characters all in one big fighting game?
Oh my god. No, it'd just be all the Primarchs fighting each other. Give me that! Yeah, give me that game.
Yeah, a Horus Heresy game where I could fuck around as a Primarch would be cool.
Yeah,
just like
it's actually just
flaying
like
people. You play as Night Hunter
simulation.
and you're just like flaying people. Just super gruesome. All right, next topic. Sisters Battle Codex is on pre-order next week. I did notice that there's been a noticeable increase in pre-orders. So between the last 3 weeks of like all the AOS stuff, lots of Space Marine stuff came out a few weeks ago. Or sorry, 40K stuff came out weeks ago. Sisters of Battles are out, and they're already previewing Orc stuff. So do you think this is showing a sign that we're going to see an increase in 40K releases?
Well, I think yes and no. I think they put out like a warning a little while back that they were going to increase these pre-order times, or maybe I have it wrong and they were going to decrease them. But I'm pretty sure they said that they were going to put a bigger leeway in between the pre-order date and the actual delivery date to try to get as many copies out as possible. So we could just be seeing that just so they get ahead of themselves. Because, I don't know, like, Sisters got a codex for 8th edition pretty late, did they not?
Yeah, so it was like, I think it was the last 8th edition codex, basically.
Yeah.
And then a bunch of all the Psychic Awakenings basically came out right after.
Right, that's what it was. So, like, yeah, I mean, but neat. I mean, Sisters and Orcs, that's cool. We got to see the little Orc preview a while back of T5 Orcs, which is nice.
What do you think of the T5 Orcs?
I think T5 Orcs is good. Like, we'll see them go up in points, obviously, marginally, but that kind of works out with the smaller board size too. That's kind of the route that we seem to be going in. But I'm also at the same time not looking forward to playing like 120 T5 bodies plus whatever weird airplane kamikaze nonsense they can pull off, and maybe have shock attack guns be a thing again.
Yeah, I knew this would happen. I knew they'd make the new orcs better somehow than the old orc boys because they have to sell them. So now they're strength 5 times 5. And they're probably going to be like 1 point more. Like they're going to be like obviously not. They're not going to be like proportionally more expensive. They're going to be like much better value. So like for instance, like the current orc boys I think are 8 points for an orc boy, and like the new ones will be like 9 points for like strength 5, and like a better weapon or something. Like that's Games Workshop like sales math. That's what I call it.
What if they made Grots T4?
Well, they're gonna be T3 because they're T2 normally, right?
Oh, is that what their regular base is?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, even if they get a bump up, like, I don't know. I think it'll be good.
Right.
Maybe they'll still be a little more fragile. Maybe they don't have the always get a 6+ armor save kind of thing.
Yeah. One thing that I think about is like, is there any reason really, like, I know like the 3 stat, like the 3 across the board stat, which is supposed to be like average human, or like 4 weapons skill, ballistic skill, and then 3s across the board. That's like, that kind of came from like, I don't know where that actually ever originated from, but I don't see, because like obviously we use a D6 system, which I think limits it in some ways, but I think with certain stats, like they could really like imagine if T5 being in the middle of 10 was actually the human stat, and then there was like a lot more variation in stats, like for like strength and toughness, for instance, across the different races. Like imagine T5 strength 5 was like say human in the middle, and then like Grots were like strength 4 toughness 4, Marines were like strength 5 toughness 6, like whatever. Like I just feel there's no reason they can't go much broader with strength and toughness. Now obviously with things like weapon skill and ballistic skill, they got to be between 1 and 6 because of the D6 system. And things like attacks, obviously it's, you know, but I don't see any reason why for things like strength and toughness they couldn't kind of like re-normalize the middle stat and then just have a lot more granularity, because and then have weapons have much more range as well, right? Like you could have a lot more strength 4 weapons, strength 5 weapons, strength 6 weapons.
It would be cool to see more diversity for that sort of stuff. like everything seems very like cookie cutter. Like we said this thing, whatever, 20 years ago. We got to stick with it.
Absolutely. All right,
Basing everything off
second
of
last
Garmin.
topic, or third last topic. Age of Sigmar Dominion. So we saw the big box set drop for Age of Sigmar. Chat, what do you guys think? Michael, you're the Age of Sigmar player here. What are your thoughts on
I'm extremely excited. First of all, yes, Stormcast. If you guys didn't see that coming, I don't know why. It's just like putting Space Marines in every starter box. I do like the new aesthetic for them. They're very like 300-esque, more like Spartan-looking warriors, especially like spear-looking guys. And I love the new orcs that they dropped. If you're a Tolkien fan, Lord of the Rings fan, like they're very much in that aesthetic, but mixed with like a little bit more of the like cartoon darkness that Age of Sigmar's got going for them.
Yeah. They remind me of like, I don't know if you remember seeing the cover of like the second edition fantasy hardback, but there's like they have that very like old, really, it's like almost they went super old school with the orcs. Like it has a very old school orc vibe where they look almost more like kind of goblin monkeys.
Well, I think that's more kind of what they are, right? Because they have those like little things that are like hobgoblins.
I don't like the hobgoblins. The proportions of their bodies look really weird. It's like they have like really weird long torsos, and then like I don't know.
Well, I think they just look like if you look at the big like troll almost looking thing that they have, it's just like a minuscule version of that, like the really long extended like body. But no, this stuff looks awesome. The dude riding the wolf thing, whatever you want to call it, looks fantastic. I always love when they put like these new factions in these starter sets, like they did with Night Hunt, because you know, at least for like the next year, that army is going to get fleshed out. Like I really like the what's it called? The newer orcs that are in Age of Sigmar that have like the battle pigs and things like that. But I wasn't a fan of how small the range was. I like to have like a variety, and I think that's part of playing Chaos and 40k. It just makes me want to have access to like so many different things. But no, the set looks great. Hopefully it's not limited.
I'm not as impressed because I don't know. I didn't think we'd get orcs.
I didn't either.
If you'd said it's going to be orcs versus Sigmar, even though they're like new orcs, I wouldn't have guessed new orcs. I would have guessed like Femir or some sort of brand new race that we've never heard of, not just like monkey orcs. First of all. Second of all, can I just say how lame the fucking trailer was compared to the 40k one? The 40k one was like fucking 3 minutes long, and like super badass, and then the Age of Sigmar one was like 30 seconds. Like it was cool for the 30 seconds that long it was, especially as like when they come down in like when they fucking lightning strike into the goblins. Like that was really cool, and obviously like. The Sigmarines though look so crazy though. They're like lightning. It's like full on Thor powers, like lightning, eyeballs, lightning, ears, lightning, hair, lightning. It's like it's a little much, right? Like it's like
trash.
Yeah. So I thought that was really interesting. I just thought it was a little short. It was cool.
Maybe the rest is on Warhammer Plus.
Yeah, the rest it's like one of those things where it's like it just stops and then it's like to watch the second half, subscribe to Warhammer Plus.
Yeah.
All right, and that kind of brings us to, I guess, our background topic. So what I'll say is, based on the Age of Sigmar previews of the rules I've seen so far, I am interested. Seems like they're adding a lot more rules, so I guess their 4-page rule is now out the window. But I'm interested. I probably won't pick up the box set because none of the armies interest me at this point. Like I knew I get the Sigmarines and I don't like them, and I definitely don't like the orcs. I think I'll probably just end up maybe starting and playing some practice games with my demons. And then either doing my undead. I want to see how they kind of get rebalanced in the new edition. You know, things like the monster changes and the character changes might actually make them, the heroic changes might actually make the army more viable. Because I know there's a lot of hate on the vampires right now.
Did you see those new monster rules that came out today?
I did see them, yeah.
Dude, destroy a terrain feature? That's so cool.
That's very cool.
not that there's a ton of terrain, but...
So that brings us...
Also, I will say... Sorry, real quick. For 40k players that like to shit on AOS all the time, whether you want to pay attention to it or not, it's worthwhile always looking at some of the new rules that come out because they do use AOS as almost like a small testing ground for different changes they're going to make in 40k, especially for movement related things. Some of the changes they made to Age of Sigmar eventually transferred into like 9th edition.
Yeah. So that is actually a really good segue into our background lore discussion today, which is going to be on Sigmar Heldenhammer, who is the namesake of the game Age of Sigmar. And for those of you that played Warhammer Fantasy, was someone that always, I guess, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, he was always talked about in the game, especially as like a character. And he didn't actually make an appearance until basically the end times, where he is reincarnated as Emperor Karl Franz in Emperor Karl Franz's body. He comes back in Emperor Karl Franz's body. I don't know if you remember that.
Yes, those books are great, man.
So Sigmar, and one of the things that I personally, I never really liked Sigmar as a character initially, but there's a really cool story called Heldenhammer, written by Graham McNeil. I think it's published in 2008. And I remember reading the story, and it's a short story. So it's like maybe like, I don't know, 30, 40 pages. And basically it kind of starts out with just this young boy, this young barbarian, young man, basically. And he's like minding his own business with his tribe of barbarians. And he comes across these dwarves that have been captured by orcs. Right? And then he leads his like tribe and he rescues the dwarves. But you don't find out till the very end of the story. Like at the very last line of the story, the guy's like, "What's your name?" to the like barbarian, the young man, and he's like, Sigmar, like Sigmar Heldenhammer. So like you read this whole story. I mean, obviously it's called you read the whole story and it's not quite clear like that it's Sigmar. Yeah. But then at the very end he rescues the dwarf, and I was like, "Oh, that's a really cool story." And that story actually ended up winning the an award for Graham McNeil. I believe it won some David Gemmell award or something like that for writing. And that was actually a really cool story. And that was the first time I was like, "Oh, Sigmar's actually pretty cool." And I used to actually have a Sigmar themed Empire army in Warhammer Fantasy back in the day. It had twin-tailed comets everywhere, so everything was twin-tailed comets. I sold the army a long time ago, and then. But like I thought it was really interesting. So Sigmar disappears. He shows up in one of the first wars against Chaos, 2,500 years before the end times. Shows up, saves the Dwarf King, gets the Galbaraz, which is like super OP basically. Like the dwarves created it way back when, gave it to Sigmar as the Dwarf King gives him Galbaraz in that story, that short story. He like gifts him Galbaraz as like a thank you for saving him.
Where he gets
That's where he gets it, yeah, because he saves the Dwarf King from that caravan of the capture, and then he gifts him Galbaraz. But like Galbaraz is like super insane. Like in all of the lore, it's like one of the most powerful weapons ever created. So it's kind of funny that he gets it. And then he disappears at some point, and it's never really explained where he goes. He disappears for many thousands of years.
Azer.
Well, that's right? Maybe, I don't know. But then eventually he comes back at the end times. He inhabits Karl Franz's body. And it's never quite explained how he actually becomes a god, which I always thought was really interesting. Like he is the god of the Empire, right? Like is
it just because of the hammer?
Well, it's not quite clear. So I think, and my theory is much like the Emperor in 40K, a lot of his power, especially now in the current background, like his divinity and his ability to like be essentially a presence in the warp that can actually affect the material universe, is affected by the fact that there's like billions of people that believe in him, and because of that, they essentially create the God Emperor. Like the God Emperor as a god is actually a creation of like, just like the Chaos Gods are psychic reflections of say like pleasure and excess and war, and they're reflections of that. The God Emperor is a reflection of the billions of people across the Imperium that believe in him, and so he basically is a reflection of that belief. Just like there's just like there's like the Chaos Gods. So I think Sigmar in a way, maybe he did die. Maybe he did die at some point when he kind of walks off in the sunset in the end of the... And then over time, as more and more people raised him as a deity, that his soul in the warp or wherever he goes off coalesces essentially as essentially equivalent of a chaos god. And then he becomes like essentially a good chaos god, right? Like all that belief across the empire and all the different races essentially manifests as himself. And then somehow he comes back in the end times He gets, because he actually inhabits Karl France. Karl France gets killed, and then he gets struck by this lightning, and he like full on like resurrects out of the ground, and I think and he's like full on Sigmar for the rest of the end times.
What if the reason he left, right? So like we're trying to figure out how he became a god. What if he is a chaos god and he left so he didn't flip? You know what I mean? Like so he didn't like rain down the destruction.
Well, that makes less sense to me because he was a human at one point. He was born and he was a human. The chaos gods don't have that. They weren't like humans at one point, right? So he was like a human. He was a human warlord and emperor of the empire, right? At one point, and then eventually he was just like, all right, I'm gonna go off in the sunset, and then 2,000 years pass, and then he comes back for the end times. And then I thought it was really interesting that one of the coolest passages in the entire end times is the very last page of the end times, and I'm gonna grab it because I'm handy like that.
I was gonna say I got no clue. It's been so long since I read those books. Oh my god, you got the big one.
Of course I do. Yo, my boy Archeon, what's up? So this was if you guys haven't read the End Times, it's a really cool book. But like this is one half of the story. This is just the story in the Archeon book, and there's literally 5 of these books. So it's a really cool series, except the fact that look at that art. Isn't that amazing? That's like one of the most badass art. But the very last page, so after basically chaos wins, and then this is the last page of the end times. So see that little you know who that is? That's Sigmar. So basically the first 2 paragraphs is basically saying like the world gets destroyed by the powers of chaos. And then there's a sentence here. It says that terrible act of uncreation might have taken the blink of an eye or unfolded across millennia. The dark gods were not fettered by the flow of time and let it pass unmarked. Already tired of their victory, they turned away from the ruin they had wrought and began the great game anew in other worlds and other creations. In doing so, they paid no heed to the tiny speck of light tumbling in the infinite darkness, the glowing essence of what had once been a man. Through the storm of nothingness he fell, adrift for eons upon unseen tides. Then came a glimmering orb, a fiery world heart grown cold as the abyss. Desperate, the figure seized upon the sphere with a grip that could shatter mountains. He stared into the void, and from the darkness, the void stared back. The figure clung tight, marshalling his faded strength. He reached forth his hand, and a miracle took shape. And what of tomorrow? What of tales yet to be told? And the cycle of the stars? These were truly the end times, but they were also the beginning.
Boom. So Sigmar is the Emperor. Confirmed.
So, he basically floats through space somehow and finds the world, like one of the worlds in the mortal realms. Like he gets to the mortal realms. And then from there, I guess he befriends in the Age of Sigmar. Then we switch to Age of Sigmar background, and he befriends I think it's called like Draconith or something like that.
Draconith.
It's like one of the mighty super dragons of the mortal realms that exists out in who knows where. And then he basically founds Azur, and from there they kind of go, and he founds the what's it called? What's the city? Is it called Azur? That's the realm of Azur.
Yeah, the realm. Oh fuck.
It's the realm of heavens.
I did have it here. Yeah.
I also have it here.
Where did it go? No, isn't. I think the voice is just Azur. No, that's the realm. Azurine? Azurite? The Eternal City?
Dracothian is the name of the guy. Yeah, so it's the realm of Azur that he
Yeah, but it's the Eternal City is the Celestial City that they're from.
Yeah, the Celestial. So okay, so he shows up, and there's some really cool artwork of him. Basically with Galmaraz. And it's like divine basically. He's gone full gold, Super Saiyan, man god, Thor. Super god, but it's not quite clear how he got that power and where that came from. I guess maybe he stole all the souls from the old world, and now he's up to all sorts of stuff in the Age of Sigmar, in where the Age of Sigmar background is actually many thousands of years as well. Like they kind of started about like 5,000 years into it already. Like he had already
you've got it
all
We've
the
got a
races.
big block of empty time.
Yeah, so basically all the races had like resettled. The realms had been created. There was basically an age of wonder, and then there was an age of chaos where everything came through and just got destroyed by everything. And then now it's kind of like being rebuilt. But what do you think? I guess what do you think his deal is? Like, I'm kind of curious. Like, we've seen obviously models for the other gods, like the good gods, Tyrion and Alariel and Marathi. Nagash is a god.
Yep.
And now we got the new Beastman Senegor guy. So do you think we'll ever see a Sigmar?
Ragnaros.
Do you think we'll ever see a Sigmar model? First of all,
I would like to be hopeful and say yes, but like probably not. I feel like it's on par because like he is essentially the emperor, if you want to give it that title, of like the Age of Sigmar universe. And yeah, I don't know. I feel like if they were to make a model, regardless of the fact that Nagash and Alariel and all of them already exist now, I feel like they would also need to make the Gorka Morka model, and then.
But he's just a man. He's like probably like the size of like a large Stormcast, like a Primarch level, right? With a big hammer.
Yeah, but there's no way they just make him a man, because that's why the big centerpiece for Stormcast is the little Stormcast dude on the giant dragon. Ooh, no, the dragon one.
Yeah, but isn't the Selson Prime the guy with like the weird windy stuff, and he's actually got Galmaraz in his hand? Like he can actually take Galmaraz.
Well, he's just the spiky guy, but that's not the biggest model. The biggest model is the dragon.
Yeah,
it's like $250.
But I guess I'm just thinking like I don't see why they couldn't have a Sigmar model. And the other thing is too is like, why doesn't he come and fight, man? Like he seems like he's a bit of a bitch, to be honest.
Maybe he's fragile. Maybe he's locked inside the hammer.
Yeah, and
it's just
obviously
his, like, power radiates
him and Archaon have like a big rivalry, like they're kind of mortal enemies, and they seem to be fairly equal in the grand scheme of the like Age of Sigmar fluff. Unlike
power,
he's not an equivalent to the Chaos Gods, unlike the Emperor, who is like basically the what do they call him, the anathema or whatever, whereas basically means like the opposite of them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I like
Maybe
on this
they're brothers.
I like on the fucking Age of Sigmar wiki, it's like, here are his beliefs. Oppose chaos in all its forms. Spread the faith of Sigmar.
Oh, I know.
Treat fairly with other gods. Uphold the tenets of civilization and progress. Like, what is that? His like fucking stats? So funny.
But maybe you're right though. Maybe he just actually doesn't exist.
That's how I say it. Anathema. Thank you.
I
always have trouble with
because
the enema. He's the enema of the Chaos Gods.
Because there's the other codex too, which is Cities of Sigmar, which goes over. Well, I think it's 8 different cities. Thanks, where they're all like
cat for that.
They all praise Sigmar, and you can take Stormcast Eternals in every single one of those cities. Each city belonging to like a different force of order,
right?
As well. So the whole like belief to keep them alive thing makes sense. It's kind of like the Santa slay an elf.
Yeah, I do hope they bring him in though, because I kind of feel like I'd like to see that model, just like they have a Primarch model.
Maybe they're just waiting for a campaign series to do it. You know what I mean? Like, look how long Nagash came out during the end times, sort of deal.
Yeah, Righteous Enema. They need to clean out the realm of chaos. Of all the nasty chaos bits.
Bowels of chaos.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, I guess we brought you this little lore segment on Sigmar, the Chaos God. I do hope, though, that we, like, it's just, he is one of those kind of enigmatic figures like the Emperor where you don't hear a lot from him. Like, there's not very much dialogue outside of, like, the very early books where he's in Warhammer Fantasy. You don't really hear him, like, as a narrative, or as a, like, you hear Marathi, you hear Teclis, you hear Nagash, you hear all the other gods, you hear them they're in a lot of the stories as narrative, like agents, right? Like they're actual characters. Whereas like Sigmar, you don't, even though he's not a model, which is fine, you don't actually hear even Malarion and Tyrion, who don't have models yet, which I'm sure they will at some point. You hear about them, they're in a lot of the books. But Sigmar, you don't really hear much. He's always just kind of brewing away, opening more chambers, creating more.
They also haven't done a whole lot to like fully flesh out the new like Age of Sigmar like fluff. I would say like there's been a handful of novels, but nothing crazy yet, and nothing like the amount of books that we used to see come out for fantasy.
Well, I was thinking, and I know this will sound crazy, but like, is this game always gonna be called Age of Sigmar? Because for me, it's like the Sigmar, like it's called Age of Sigmar, but like, what if one day it's the Age of Nagash? What if Warhammer? What if
Kind of like Underworld.
yeah? What if like Warhammer, this game of Warhammer, whatever the fourth edition is called like Age of Nagash or Age of Archaon, or something else? Like, what if like instead of being now
Age of
that's probably not
Chaos.
going to happen, but like I think it's peculiar that they've named this whole game after one of the narrative characters, the main character of Sigmar, but you never really see
It's weird.
you know what I'm saying? So I was like, maybe like
Yeah.
just like there's the Age of Chaos, they could do like editions of the game where like it actually is big shifts in like that narrative and big shifts in the kind of power dynamics.
You probably wouldn't even need to do it in edition wise. Like, what were those like? Those add-on books, those like supplement books for fantasy, like the Chaos Magic one,
Yeah.
and things like that. You could just do
Yeah.
its own series like that, unless they do N times 2.0.
I agree with Jay. It's never going to happen. He's saying it's branding, and so I agree with you. But I guess my point is like, it's an Age of
A
Sigmar,
shame.
but like it's very light on Sigmar.
Yeah.
Sigmar himself. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, Sigmar.
Yeah.
Let's see a little bit of love from you. So hopefully we get to learn more about him. I'd love to see some more Age of Sigmar books with some background on him and like just kind of I'd love to see like what his mindset is, especially after all the shit he's been through. You know?
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah, for sure. And also give me cool models instead of giant battle cow behemoths.
well, yeah, I mean, yeah. So we'll see. All right, Michael, that's the show. Chat, thanks for tuning in. Everyone else, thanks for tuning
Thank you
in.
very much.
This has been the Best Overall Show, episode 11. We made it to 11 episodes, which means we're now a real show because most of these podcasts don't make it past 10 episodes. So if they say if you can make it to 10 episodes, you're probably going to make it, which is still probably 50-50 for me. But I just wanted to thank everyone that has tuned in, subscribed, commented, liked. Please make sure
Go
to
subscribe on
continue
YouTube.
to do that. Send me your Bezos bucks. Send me those subscriptions. I still haven't. Okay, so actually, I'll tell you guys a little behind the scenes on Twitch. Twitch only pays out to creators if you make like $100. So every 100, like after I make a minimum $100, and I've been streaming for 3.5 months, and my total amount is like $50 still, because like no one really subscribes to the channel and no one really gives me any money, which is fine. I haven't asked for it, but I just think it's funny. It's like I'm like, and then if you quit Twitch or if you like, then they just keep the $50. So like their scam is that like they don't pay you out unless you make $100 a month at least minimum. But I've been on like $55 of like revenue, quote unquote, for like 3.5 months, and I just think it's funny. I'm like, it's gonna take. It's like people who think that you can quit and do this full time don't understand how little money you make from like these like advertisements and
Yeah,
stuff
you
like
get
that. But it's just really funny.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, if you guys want to give me your Bezos bucks or just gift subscriptions to people in the chat, hey, do it. I'm not gonna stop you, and I will love you a long time. But other than that, that is gonna be the show tonight, guys. Tomorrow, oh, there we go. Oh, don't give it to him. Failed charge is the worst. Damn, I don't want him to get it. Can I
Twist
re-gift
my
it?
arm. Oh
But
my
yeah,
God.
thanks for the sub there, VGL Cat. I appreciate it. Yeah,
Just one name.
Failed charge is a buddy of mine in Vancouver, and he's a jerk face, and no one likes him. So I didn't want you to give him anything. But thanks everyone for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow with just hobby chat, and then on Saturday, no stream on Saturday. And then Sunday with more hobby chat, and I'll be posting next week's schedule tomorrow. So just remember, slightly updated schedule. With that said, make sure to follow me on Instagram, JimboV_paints. Michael Scott, if people want to get in touch with you, where can they do that?
Pretty much just Twitter for the most part right now, or you can yell at me through Comp40K.
Yeah, so just go start putting dick pics in Comp40K with Michael's name on them.
Yeah,
and see what happens.
do it. You'll get the whole fucking group taken down.
All right, guys, that's gonna be the show tonight. Thanks so much for tuning in, and